New video game review. I finally got done playing Watch Dogs. And by the way, I don't think anybody has complained about the video game reviews because the video game reviews come up late. Like Watch Dogs came out. Fuck, I don't know. Glenn, do you know when Watch Dogs came out?
Like 22nd of May or something. It's been at least a month.
It's been out. It's been out for a while. And as soon as the game comes out, shitloads of reviews appear everywhere. So you'd think we're late to the review party, but my understanding of video game reviewers are that they get a review copy and they play a couple of levels or they go through a couple of missions or something like that, and then they write the review off of that. Very rarely is my understanding that they actually play entire games, because to do so would mean it would be impossible for them to churn out reviews as quickly as they do. Unlike movies where you can, sit through a movie, in 2 hours and you're done and you can write a, review. Most games tend to take you a little longer than 2 hours to get through. So, the reviews were glowing for the game, but at the same time, I also saw a lot of people shit really hard on this game. So I was curious to see where I stood on it. But I ended up liking it a lot. And you just said you finished playing it as well?
Yeah, I just finished it before we started recording.
Okay. And first, before we go anywhere, thoughts and feelings on that last fucking mission. That was... did you have a hard time with that? I had the hardest time getting through that last mission. The shit where you've got to implant a virus in 3 different locations.
With the cars?
Yes.
No, I think I died once. Yeah, I died once. So
you're a horrible human being.
Oh, I used the boats. I mean, like as soon as you have a trump card with the boats, you always use the boat to get away.
Right,
and when
right,
you can get the two of them with the boats, and then the third one's in the middle. And I just found a hatchback because apparently a hatchback is the best thing to drive in that game for whatever reason. Outside of a motorcycle, and I just drove right up to it, closed the gates, and downloaded it.
I'm more of a motorcycle guy in that game anyway. But
well, I mean, I wasn't going to use a motorcycle while getting chased by the entire Chicago Police Department.
Right. Well, believe it or not, I found it to be easier that way. Like you get ahead of them much further. But did you play Grand Theft Auto 5 at all? Because this is the game that Watch Dogs is being measured up against constantly.
No, I never played it.
Okay. I have not played the entire game. I've played like chunks of GTA 4 and 5. By the way, also flawed games are not fucking perfect or anything either. But yeah, in the review I talked the game looked fucking stupendous, of course. The story, I can see how people could be like, the story, you could fucking take it or leave it. I get that. I thought where it exceeds over Grand Theft Auto is that I've always felt like in GTA you have to fucking shoot your way through the entire game, where you don't have to do that. In this game, it's kind of a combination. To me, I get immense satisfaction from taking out half of the fucking security guards or whatever while I'm standing outside of the building and they're just inside while I'm, exploding their fucking grenades while they're still in their belts and shit. To me, and doing it that way and strategizing, like, stopping cars while you're being chased and things like that, those are great. The mini games, I don't know if you've played any of the mini games, but the mini games, especially Spider Tank, is fucking awesome. Like, I've seen other people say it, but it really is true. That could have been its own game that they could have put on, PlayStation Network or Xbox Live. It could have been its own like little like $10 game that would have been awesome all on its own. So the fact that it's combined in this game is even better. The thing that I didn't, the stuff that really irked me the most was kind of poor character development. Just because just based off of everything I've played in Grand Theft Auto 5, the characters were so great in that game. And Trevor was a fucking fantastic character, like one of my favorite characters in a game ever. And this game did not have anything remotely close to that. And I thought the driving mechanics in this game were shit. Absolutely. I mean, because I know they're making a second game. That better be the first goddamn thing in all capital letters on their fucking whiteboard is fix the driving mechanic, because it sucks so much to drive just about any car in that game. Unless you're going like the speed limit. If you want to go the speed limit, you're probably okay. But if you want to go anything above the speed limit, you may be fucked. And even worse if somebody shoots out your tires or or whatever. Bikes are really easy to handle, and small cars, like you mentioned, like the hatchbacks and stuff, those are easy to handle. Any of the cool looking fast cars are very fast. They look great and they sound awesome, but you can't steer them for shit. You're constantly swerving into the other lane and running people over, and yeah, it's not it's especially shit when you're trying to escape people. It's not good. Overall, though, yeah, it felt like by the time the game was over, Glenn, it felt very different though from Grand Theft Auto. This felt more like I know it's probably sacrilege to say it's Batman in any way, but I guess Punisher may be more apt. But it was essentially an origin story for a vigilante. Essentially, is the main part of the story, and I think they left it open for sequels. No.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on the drive mechanics they're awful. They need to fix that because that's garbage. If you're gonna give me a handbrake, I better be able to drift and not just fishtail and kill people.
Yes. So much of the fishtailing. It's
I mean, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. It's asinine.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on the characters. The funnest person is Jordy, and he's just and then by the time the end comes around and he's there, like as it went along, like, okay, towards the end of the game, and they try and like throw in twists. They aren't like twists; they're just like, why are you doing this? Like with Jordy, like, okay, I understand. There's a contract out for you. Jordy's gonna kill you. That makes sense.
Right.
And then like immediately he calls you and he's like, oh hey, yeah, we're done. Well, is the contract over with? Because I mean, there's still a shit ton of people that say that want to kill him. Why does he not want to kill him now? Because he has a giant bounty on his head. What has changed?
Correct. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
And then, like, with Clara, I mean, it was kind of nice that they, like, you know, they hint that there could be a romantic relationship, and it immediately just gets derailed by her death. Because apparently if you get shot in the shoulder, you automatically die.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know how death works, but I
that didn't work.
I would imagine that if you got shot in the shoulder, you wouldn't just instantly drop.
Yeah, it didn't.
On
your. Go ahead.
On your left shoulder, nowhere near your heart or lungs. Let me just get that straight.
I mean, it didn't really work for me either. And the main character,
he's lame.
What ruined it for me? I mean, hopefully they add some depth going forward, but what really sucked for me was that they did and it's even more I mean, it was overdone when Christian Bale was doing it, but it's more overdone now. It's just the gruff Batman-y, I'm here to save you, that kind of fucking voice. I'm over and done with that. It felt like near the end he wasn't talking in that voice as much.
Yeah, like whenever he first confronts Damien on the lighthouse, mm-hmm. I honestly thought it was a different voice at first, and it kind of was like, oh, he should have been using that the whole time.
Yeah, that sounded much more likable.
And you said like the Punisher thing. Mm-hmm. That was like the thought I had after I finished this game is like, man, how great would it be if they made a Punisher game?
Right.
I mean, it could be no different, but just throw his name on it. Just use that licensing.
Right. Because
if you just put me in a city and all I did was like the gang hangouts and all that kind of stuff and just murdering bad guys, that'd be pretty fun. I mean, there would be no story to it. You would just be killing bad people. Right. And that was kind of like with this guy, they tried to give him depth and character, and it was like, I don't really give a shit about this guy or his family, and I kind of don't really care about the niece. That kind of sucks, but like, let's just get to hacking and doing stuff, because they never gave you anything to. They tried to force the issue, but like you said, with it being really, really cliche, like it was just kind of like, oh, of course, this is why.